And good afternoon and welcome back. Another episode of Thursdays with Charlie. This is number 81 and the 16th of December, 2021. The year is almost ending. Want to tell you thanks to all those people who came out to support our Christmas party last week. We had a wonderful time. Almost 370 people came to the Riverside, to the Starview Room. We honored the 50 states of our union. We had a lot of fun with some state trivia. We had a good entertainment, a wonderful rendition of Oh Holy Night, which kind of brought the house down and brought everyone to their feet for a standing ovation. I understand there was even some dancing in the aisles during New York, New York. Don't have any pictures of it that I have seen yet, but I heard it was taking place. We had such a good time at the Christmas party that we decided we're going to get ready really early for next year. So we've already scheduled the Christmas party for 2022 for people who want to just make your calendars up early. December the 9th, that's a Friday night, 2022 will be our Christmas party for 2022 at the Riverside in the Starview Room. Currently, we're thinking about using as a theme TV shows from the 50s, 60s, and possibly 70s. That may change during the year, but that's where the thoughts are going right now in the party planner's mind. So if you want to think about your favorite shows that were on in the 50s, 60s, 70s, we might be using that. If we don't use it for the Christmas party, we're definitely going to use it for some other event in the new year. We're very pleased we had ordered the word and song books, which have the readings and the songs in it. We sold out our first order of 200 books. There's another 200 that were ordered a while ago, and they're still caught in the supply chain. If any luck happens, we will have them in time for this weekend. If not, we hope we have them in time for Christmas. As soon as they are, we'll make the announcement, and we'll put another 200 on sale at $5 each. People seem to enjoy them. I love the large print in them, and we look forward to using them throughout the year. Unfortunately, with this supply chain thing, we haven't been able to control delivery. And the same thing is true of our calendars. We did order 700 calendars for 2022. We're waiting. They're somewhere in the midst of shipping. As far as I know, they've already been printed. It's just a matter of getting them to us. Now, we've made up the Christmas schedule for the weekend of Christmas and the weekend of New Year's. It was in last week's bulletin. It's going to be in this week's bulletin again. But please share the words, share the message of it. It will save you phone calls, and it will help people who maybe are visiting our area and did not pick up last week's bulletin. I'm going to go over it briefly over here just to refresh everybody's mind. We have a lot of masses for Christmas. People do come out for Christmas. We look forward to our visitors for Christmas, but you need to know where and when the masses are. So our first Mass of Christmas will be on Christmas Eve, and that's Friday, December the 24th, and that will be in Don's Celebrity Theater at the Riverside Resort. So the first Mass of Christmas, 4 p.m., Nevada time, Don's Celebrity Theater at the Riverside on Christmas Eve. Normally, that is our most crowded Mass, but since we're at the Riverside, we can accommodate up to 800 people with no problem. So please, if you want to be sure, if you're going to be near the Riverside, maybe going out for dinner on Christmas Eve, that would be a suitable Mass. We look forward. It will be open about an hour before Mass time, so about 3 p.m. we will open it. We look forward to having you there celebrating the first Mass of Christmas with us, 4 p.m. Christmas Eve at the Riverside. Our next Mass will be at 6 p.m. Christmas Eve, and that will be at the church. 6 p.m. Mass on Christmas Eve. You might want to schedule your Christmas Eve dinner a little bit after that. We look forward to a nice crowd here at the church for that. All of our Christmas Masses will have plenty of Christmas music. In fact, we'll probably start some of the Christmas music about 15-20 minutes before the Mass, so you can come and enjoy it as we get ready to celebrate the birth of our Savior. Our third Mass for Christmas will be Christmas Eve at 8 p.m. here at the church. And so on Christmas Eve, we have Mass at 4 p.m. at the Riverside in Don's Celebrity Theater, and at 6 p.m. and again at 8 p.m. Nevada time here at the church. One of our parishioners, Terry Sheehan, has her brother who's a Jesuit priest visiting her, and so Father John Sheehan will be assisting me at the Christmas Masses. I will take some of them, and he will take some of them. As of right now, it looks like I'm going to be doing the 4 p.m. and the 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and Father John will do the 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve. That may change, but we'll both be around, and we look forward to seeing our parishioners. Christmas Eve is traditionally more crowded at our Masses than on Christmas Day. We look forward to them. The church will be open a half an hour before the Christmas Eve Masses at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Nevada time on Christmas Eve. Now, Christmas Day is Saturday, December the 25th. We will have 8 a.m. Mass here at the church, and we will have the normal 10 a.m. and 12 noon Masses that we have on Sundays at the Riverside in Don's Celebrity Theater. So again, Christmas Day, 8 a.m. Mass here at the church, 10 a.m. Mass in Don's Celebrity Theater at the Riverside, 12 noon Mass at Don's Celebrity Theater at the Riverside. As of right now, looks like I'll be celebrating the 8 a.m. Mass here at the church, and Father John and I will split up the 10 and the 12 down at the Riverside. Again, there's plenty of room at the Riverside, so you don't have to worry about being able to get in for Mass. And we will put up extra chairs in the church for the 8 a.m., so hopefully we can accommodate up to 300 people if we need to. But if you want space, you want to spread out, the Riverside Masses are certainly there. So we have 6 Masses for Christmas, 3 on Christmas Eve and 3 on Christmas Day. Now remember, Christmas Day falls on a Saturday. We are not going to have any evening Masses as we normally do on Saturday on Christmas Day. I don't think people will want to be away from their families or coming out for church at that time for the Mass for Sunday. So there's no 4 p.m. and no 6 p.m. Mass on Christmas Day. The next day is Sunday, the 26th of December, and that is the Feast of the Holy Family. So we will have the normal 3 Masses for Sunday, December 26th, 8 a.m. at the church, 10 a.m. and 12 noon at the Riverside Resort and Don's Celebrity Theater. But no evening Masses on Saturday, Christmas Day. New Year's is the following weekend. Saturday is January the 1st, 2022. We will have a 9 o'clock Mass in the morning. It is not a holy day of obligation because it falls on a Saturday. So the church says we don't need to make the obligation for 2 Masses that weekend. We will honor Mary at the 9 a.m. Mass on New Year's Day, Mary, the Mother of God. No evening Masses on January 1st, New Year's Day either. We will celebrate the Feast of the Epiphany, which is a Sunday, on January 2nd, and we will have 8 a.m. Mass at the church, 10 a.m. and 12 noon Masses in Don's Celebrity Theater at the Riverside. We've already gotten a number of calls concerning confessions. We hear confessions in my office or at the Riverside before each Mass, 20 minutes before every Mass in the coming weeks, except for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I like to be free to visit with our parishioners and our visitors in the celebration of Christmas. So you have this weekend, you have all of the Masses next week up until Friday morning. Please make your arrangements. If you can't come 20 minutes before any of the Masses, you can give us a call. We'll set up a time to hear confessions individually here at church. But again, not during Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I think I want to be free to enjoy our parishioners and our visitors very, very much. Hopefully that's going to be enough masses for everybody to find time on their schedule to attend and join with us in celebrating the birth of Christ. We look forward to it every year. We look forward to our visitors who come back. They're visiting their families. We get to see them every year on Christmas when they're in our area. It's a wonderful time for reunions and gatherings and joyful thoughts and Merry Christmas all around. Now, Christmas isn't the only feast that we celebrate in December. It's certainly the biggest reason for December 25th, and everything revolves around it. But we do have some other saints and some other religious observances that come in December. And I'd just like to mention a few that have occurred this week. We celebrated them, but we should keep them in our minds. December the 12th, this past Sunday, was not only the third Sunday of Advent, but it's also the celebration of Our Lady of Guadalupe. One of the most beautiful apparitions of the Blessed Mother in our history. In 1531, Mary appeared at Tepeyac, near Mexico City, to Juan Diego, an Aztec Indian. She spoke to him in the Aztec language. And in fact, the image that she revealed on his cloak is that of a woman of perhaps Aztec origin. Beautiful. We have a mosaic of it in our church. If you haven't been to the church and you're a visitor, would love to have you come and see our beautiful mosaic of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And Mary appeared 5 times, and it was really beautiful apparition. She spoke lovingly to Juan Diego in those visions, asking to have a church built in her honor there, and also assuring him of her care. In fact, the repeated line in these visions is so memorable. Mary said to Juan Diego in Aztec language, "Am I not your mother? Will I not watch out for you? Will I not care for you, my child?" What a beautiful rendition and a beautiful homage to the way Mary treats her children in the world. If you remember, during the sufferings of Jesus on the cross, when St. John was standing at the foot of the cross and Mary was standing at the foot of the cross, Mary gave his mother to John and said, "Behold your mother." We kind of view that as Jesus giving his mother to all the world as our mother, as someone we can go to and with confidence and with love. And Mary kind of repeats that very strongly in these apparitions to Juan Diego at Guadalupe. Am I not your mother? Will I not watch out for you? Will I not care for you as my child? Our Lady of Guadalupe is such a beautiful, beautiful celebration. Then on the 13th of December, this past Monday, we celebrated the memorial feast day of St. Lucy. St. Lucy's following, she was a Roman martyr, is very, very strong, particularly in Sicily and throughout Italy, but in Sicily in particular. And St. Lucy, Santa Lucia, is considered the patroness of light and therefore of eyesight. And so St. Lucy is one to whom we go and we pray for good vision. Perhaps not only physical vision, but good vision to see things the way God sees them. I sometimes think that that's one of the great graces of life that we can ask for. Not only that we see things, but that we see things in this world the way God sees them, that we see the good that's happening the way God sees it, that we see the wrong or the sin that's happening the way God sees it, so that we'll work hard to get rid of the evil and work hard to strengthen the good. And then this week on the 14th of December, just a couple of days ago, we celebrated the memorial feast day of St. John of the Cross. St. John of the Cross was a priest in Spain who became friends with St. Teresa of Avila in the 1500s. It's about the same time as the apparitions of Guadalupe. And St. John of the Cross was planning to join the Cistercian religious order, a very strict religious order, But through his contact with St. Teresa of Avila, he decided to become a Carmelite priest, member of the Order of Mount Carmel, as St. Teresa was. And the two of them worked together, reforming the whole religious life of Spain. St. John did it a lot through his writings. He wrote volumes, but most of it is in beautiful poetry in Spanish. Some of his books, or collections of poems, if you will, include The Ascent of Mount Carmel and The Dark Night of the Soul. Some people say that John is very hard to understand because of his poetic imagery, but actually St. John is very, very practical in what he tells us. He describes our searching for Christ as like digging in a gold mine or a mine of another valuable metal. And he says it doesn't really matter when we start to dig. We need to understand that we're never going to get to the end of it. It's an unlimited and infinite mine. And so his advice was always keep digging. You'll learn more about Christ, but you will never learn all there is to know. So there's always a reason to go further, always a reason to spend time in prayer, always a reason to want to get closer to Christ, because there's always going to be more. We'll be digging and finding out and learning and living more and more. And so St. John of the Cross we honored earlier this week. Of course, all of the Sundays of Advent, and indeed the weekdays of Advent, bring to mind so many beautiful thoughts, and one of the overriding ones comes from Isaiah's vision of the Holy Mountain. Isaiah portrays this beautiful mountain on which things will be different than we experience of them now on earth, that deserts will bloom because they'll have plenty of water. Animals that normally would be enemies of one another will get along. Mankind will get along. That beautiful image of they'll beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. They'll become farm implements. People will get along in a whole new way. And we like to see that as one of the results of Christmas, of God coming into our world as the child Jesus, as the Son of God and the Son of Mary, that things will be different. So Isaiah's holy mountain is one of the most beautiful images of this Advent season. Now, this coming weekend, it's the fourth Sunday of Advent. We'll light the 4 candles on the Advent wreath. We're so close, just a week to go until Christmas comes. Now, the day we're doing this show, the 16th of December, has a special meaning for me. It was my mother's sister, my aunt's birthday, my Aunt Lil, who lived in North Carolina. And Aunt Lil, besides being my favorite aunt, Aunt Lil's birthday on that day always was a special thing for her family, because that was always the day on which they went out and bought their Christmas tree and set it up in their house. That was kind of my uncle's birthday gift to my aunt. Every year we get the tree on her birthday and we set it up in the house. I kind of wondered if there were other customs that other families have, that we do things on certain days of the year based on someone's birthday or baptismal day or wedding anniversary or things like that. But I do remember very, very much that my aunt's birthday was the day on which they would buy a tree. And as a result, my mom and dad and we kind of adopted the idea that on the 16th we would go and buy a tree. In recent years, I haven't been buying a tree to put up in my house, but what I have been doing instead is I have my Charlie Brown Christmas tree that I bring out every year and I put up. And I think most of you are familiar with a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. If you watch the show next week, I'll show it to you. I'll bring it over from the house and let you see it. There's so many beautiful things that go along with Christmas and getting ready for it. Writing cards has been around for a long, long time, and I do try to write cards. Past couple of years, I haven't been as good at it as I would like to be. I remember back when I was in the seminary, one of my classmates, Tim Murphy, had the most interesting thing I've ever heard about writing Christmas cards. He would go out and he would buy one box of 12 Christmas cards. At least normally he would end up with a box of 12. Some years he did end up with a box of 16. I don't know why Christmas cards come in those numbers, but they did. And he would only write the number of cards that were in the box. So most years Tim sent out 12 Christmas cards. The occasional year when he bought a box of 16, he would send out 16 Christmas cards. That's all. I mean, I usually sent out a few hundred Christmas cards, but Tim would do his 12 or 16. And you would kind of hope to get on the list because you knew if you got a card from Tim, you were one of 12 or 16 people that year who were getting these cards. And one year I made it to Tim's list. Now he's writing, let's say that year, 12 Christmas cards. And I got the card. And I opened it. And there was nothing written on the inside of it. He didn't sign it. He didn't write my name on it. He merely put it in an envelope and addressed it to my house. And so when I was talking to him, I said, since you're only writing 12 of them, you could have maybe written Merry Christmas on it, or Happy New Year, Charlie, or something, or he signed it Tim. And he didn't see any need for that. He said, the fact that I put it in an envelope and I mailed it to you showed you I was thinking of you, and that's all. I didn't need to sign it. So I've often kept that in mind when I get cards from people and they're printed and they're just mailed. Yeah, that represents that. They don't need to sign it. The very fact that they thought of me and put it in an envelope is certainly sufficient. Now, I know a lot of people write their Christmas cards alphabetically. They start with people whose last names end in A and work toward people whose last names, begin with A, work towards people whose last names begin with Z. I tend to write my Christmas cards geographically. I write to those who are in foreign countries first. I write to those who are in states across the country next, and I write to those in the nearer area, like for our area, the California, Nevada, Arizona type area, the very, very last. I try my best to get them into the mail in time, and I will do my best this year to send some of those cards. I've often had the debate whether I should send a card to people I see virtually every day or every week. And sometimes I really, really want to, and other times I run out of time and I just don't get to it that year. But please know that I do think of my parishioners, I do think of my friends, and hopefully I get a card out to them. But if I don't, I'm still thinking of you. Christmas brings some wonderful foods with it. We'll talk more about this next week, but of course, Christmas Peeps are out already, and Peeps came out with a new design this year, wonderful marshmallow-type candies. They came out with a red Christmas stocking-shaped Peep. Doesn't have any different flavors, but it certainly looks really beautiful. And of course, the wonderful Christmas fruitcakes, they have started to come in. People have shared fruitcakes with me, and I really do enjoy them very, very much. And I sometimes share them. A lot of times I do freeze them and save them so I can have fruitcake throughout the year, and I normally end up with more than enough to have throughout the year. One of the things I've done in recent years is I've tried to phone or text some of my closest friends on Christmas itself. It tends to be a busy day, but by Christmas afternoon, after the masses are finished and I have some time quietly at home, I do tend to text or call particular friends, particularly those across the country whom I have not seen, and want to just get a message right off to them. Now, Christmas cookies always brings some great joy to mind. Some people have very specific cookies that they make only on Christmas. My mother had two that she would make. My mother was not a baker frequently, but she did for Christmas bake two particular cookies. She would bake a date roll-up. It was a cream cheese dough, I can remember, and you would roll it up in strips around a pitted date. And they would be so delicious. We only got those, only saw those at Christmas time. And then she would make a Lithuanian or Polish specialty called osuki. I think in Polish it's kryszczuki, which they would be a fried set of dough, sometimes with a citrus flavor, sometimes with a maple flavor, sometimes with a peppermint flavor, sometimes with a liquor flavor in it, and they would be tied into little like bows, and would put one piece through another. I could never tie them. And then they would be deep fried and covered with powdered sugar. They were always very, very good. And I love Christmas lights. I don't put Christmas lights up myself, but I love to wander through the neighborhood and get to see the lights and enjoy them that my neighbors put up. The idea of the light of Christmas shining so brightly through our neighborhoods is always a beautiful sign of Christmas. And of course, there's the Christmas carols. I think only once in my life did I go out caroling on Christmas, but that doesn't mean anything other than I don't sing well. I do love hearing the Christmas carols. I love hearing them sung when we sing them in church or at the riverside. I love watching them on TV, some of the Christmas specials that we do. And of course, for me, Silent Night is my favorite Christmas carol. I think it's the one that brings us all together, gets us ready for whom we're going to celebrate on Christmas. It's about time for Pascal to come down and join us. And he brings the Merry Christmas message. Felix Diaz Natalis Christi. Happy birthday of Christ. That's what Christmas is. It celebrates the birth of our Savior into the world. And Christmas is important because Christmas makes a difference in the way we think, the way we talk, and the way we live. God bless you, and get ready for a wonderful Christmas.